Hello everyone, I am back once again with another Wi-Fi match for Sword and Shield, and this is going to be my week 3 match for the SDA League, and my opponent for this match is going to be someone named dinkyx. Sure, Dinky. So as you can see, unlike the last two matches where I basically used the 20-minute timer to actually do the match, I actually am now going to do the live competitions method, which is it's basically like the LAN mode that we used to see, back when Sword and Shield was a thing. However, let it be known that this is the only option we have in order to use the chess timer, because that's the reason why folks even use the LAN mode, is so that you can use the chess timer as opposed to the 20-minute timer. So, yeah, we're going to be using it here because, unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, but let it be known that LAN mode is no longer a thing, because they actually discontinued it apparently, because Scarlet and Violet is a thing, and a lot of people use the friendly competitions method there. So yeah, there's like no need for LAN mode, I guess. And here basically the same thing, just use friendly competitions if you're doing draft league matches. So I guess it makes sense. I personally was never too crazy about it because that LAN mode, while it is convenient so that you can set up matches instead of scheduling them ahead of time, you could switch the music still nonetheless, which actually was what I liked about the friendly competitions method. So yeah, I wasn't too crazy about LAN mode being gone, honestly. Or yeah, the LAN mode being gone, yeah, because you still have the option to set up the chess timer here with the live competitions method, and like I mentioned earlier, you can change the music. So in my opinion, it's still the better option, even if it's a little more on the inconvenient side. You know me, I can be quite picky with a lot of this stuff anyway, especially when it comes to music. But yeah, so I think that was all I gotta say. As you can see right here, I have the option to choose the music I want, because you wouldn't be able to do that with LAN mode. And I didn't want to use the 20-minute timer because I didn't like how the last match ended, where I actually won, but it went to time because the match was dragging for far too long. I mean, chances are it could happen here with the chess timer as well, but at least my opponent will lose for letting the timer run out. So whereas in the well, I guess 20-minute timer does the same thing too, no? I don't know, but chances are reduced of the match going to time with the chess timer, because the timer doesn't run while animations are going on and all that stuff. So it gives my opponents time to think during all that time and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But anyway, so the teams are as follows, as you can see right here. I think this guy's team was actually scary from what I remember. But again, I don't remember what his draft was. I just knew it was scary. A lot of the opponents in draft leagues usually have scary teams, and I'm usually not very confident in my own, because even though people say that my drafts are pretty good, I never seem to make a lot of them work. At least not nowadays anyway, because back then I used to have a little bit of creativity. Not so much nowadays though. So yeah. But anyway, so here I believe we start the match and we decide the leads and whatnot. I think I led with Conklin. Oh no, it was actually with Entei I led with, because it hits a lot of his team really, really hard. And I do have stuff for Cinderace as well. Something worth noting about this guy's team is that, yeah, Cinderace is a mon that he has on his team, as well as Zygarde, and that combination sounds deadly, because even though I think I forgot how Cinderace works in this game, but I do remember it still being kind of busted, honestly. So anyway, here are the leads. I lead off with Entei. He goes with the Hitmontop, and I'm going to go for the Sacred Fire here. The reason I go for it is because it hits a lot of his team really hard. Nothing on his team will appreciate it except for maybe the Slowbro, but I don't know if he wants to switch that. I think I also had the Toxic on this thing too, in case he wants to send in Slowbro, and I didn't think he'd want to, so yeah. I wasn't really sure what this Hitmontop could do. I know it can get Earthquake, so I was just kind of hoping he wouldn't go for that. So here comes the Sacred Fire. It does do over half, so I could 2-hit KO it if I want to. However, unfortunately for me, this guy ends up having something of a big brain play here, and he ends up going for not the Earthquake as I feared, but rather the Bulldoze. And it's a smart move, because if this Hitmontop is Technician, which I'm pretty sure it is, it gets boosted obviously in power, and has the secondary effect of lowering my speed. And because of that, I actually was forced to switch out, because I wasn't really sure I could outspeed the Hitmontop at -1 speed, and another Bulldozer might actually take me out, obviously. I go into the Sideway because I was anticipating that move again, and that's exactly what it goes for. And here, I think I wanted to go for the U-turn. I'm not really sure. Because again, I kind of felt like maybe this guy cannot do much with Hitmontop against the Sideway. Little did I know that this thing had triple axle, and apparently it's a dark type move. I don't think I've ever seen this move either, honestly. I might have, but I'm not really sure. So here, bottom line is that he went for dark triple axle, and yeah, it ends up freaking taking out my Decideway. Because again, I think triple axle is not that powerful of a move. But, you know, with Technician, obviously, it boosts every hit. So, yeah, it is, again, a good move to have, obviously, on Hitmontop. And for some reason, I didn't expect it, annoyingly enough. So, it is what it is. So, I lost the Sideway, which really, really sucks. Could have done well against the Zygarde and maybe Cinderace, but not really. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to go into Conkeldurr here now. And I think here I went for the Drain Punch, even though I wanted to go for the knockoff. I think my fear here was that I would have taken like maybe a Technician boosted Aerial Ace and have like a lot of damage done to me for no reason. So because of that, I think I went for the Drain Punch instead, which yeah, kind of sucks. Makes me wish I went for something different earlier, but I did not. So here, obviously I have to switch out because, you know, I don't want to lose Conkeldurr to a Brave Bird, so I go into Raikou here, and I think he ends up going for the Super Fang here. Yeah, he goes for Super Fang, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of forgot that Crobat gets that move. I think I knew at the time too, but like I kind of wasn't expecting it here in Sword and Shield, because this was a move that was, I think, more common in Generation 6 and 7, but I've never seen it in Generation 8. So yeah, I was taken aback by that a little bit. So, and a little annoyed because yeah, this allows Raikou to be crippled quite heavily, that a lot of mons on his team can now finish it off. So now I can't just switch this thing in. He is going to go for the U-turn right afterwards, I think. And yeah, here he's going to go straight into Zygarde. I go for the Scald because I was kind of fearing he would go into Zygarde. The electrical move on Crobat felt like too obvious of a play, so because of that, I just went for that. I was hoping for the burn right here with Scald, but unfortunately I did not get it this time. I like how I did get it in the last match, but here I do not get it whatsoever, and that really sucks because Zygarde is a lot more threatening than a Mudstail, have you know. So because of that, here I'm obviously forced to switch out. I believe here I go into Sylveon, anticipating maybe a Dragon move, if not the 1,000 Arrows, and I was kind of hoping I'd be able to take at least one of them. He ends up going for possibly the best move ever in Extreme Speed. Well, maybe it's not the best move he could have gone for. I think the best move he could have gone for was Crunch, but no, he ends up going for E-Speed, which is, again, not bad, because Sylveon definitely takes that very well, and this does force him to switch out. Unfortunately for me, he ends up going into the Cinderace, which, unfortunately, my Sylveon doesn't really have much for this. So, yeah, I just go for the Wish here, and then I have to switch out, basically. I believe I switch out into Garchomp here, because I was fearing that the Gungsha was coming, because, yeah. I know that Cinderaces do get that move. I have seen it before, and as you can see right here, he does go for it. So because of that, yeah, I went into Garchomp hoping that I can at least survive it. And of course, here I take it very well. I was hoping I didn't get poisoned because, you know, that would have kind of ruined things. And the Wish is up, so it's as if nothing happened. Now this was my opportunity to actually get a Swords Dance up and actually, you know, possibly either sweep this guy's team or at least punch holes in his team, because right now his team is just looking straight up unbreakable. So yeah, here he's going to go for U-turn, and annoyingly enough, it's also boosted by Stab because, yeah, let it be known that Cinderace has that Libero ability, and this allows him to basically, you know, survive the whole thing. Or survive the whole thing. I meant to say it boosts the move's power because they all become Stab basically, because the way Libero functions is basically like Protein, where you know, it changes the Pokemon's type based on the moves they go for, which is kind of busted, honestly, especially when they have all kinds of coverage moves. So yeah, here he's gonna hard switch into Sableye, which I thought was alright, because I'm just gonna you know, try to go for an attack right here. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp, which I had the Lumberry for, so I was prepared for that. So unfortunately for me though, as you see right there, I do proc the berry, which is nice, but here's the thing. Turns out that Sableye can apparently live +2 Swords Danced Garchomps, so like Earthquakes from Garchomp, which is kind of insane. At the time, I don't remember if I actually like, I actually don't remember if I fully invested this thing in attack. I want to believe I did though, but I'm not really sure. But the bottom line was that I didn't survive this, and yeah, no, I was not expecting that, honestly. Honestly, at +2, I felt like Earthquake should not have been able to take out Sableye, or should have been able to take out Sableye, but it just didn't somehow. And annoyingly enough, this caused them to basically get another Will-O-Wisp off, and I tried going for another Swords Dance to kind of make up for the fact that I got burned, but my attack would still be half regardless, so it's like, yeah, it's just like, holy damn. This actually had me all sorts of frustrated, I'll have you know. This was the moment in the match where I just kind of felt like I lost this, because yeah, now my Garchomp is burned. It also got crippled by the Cinderace earlier. He sends in Crobat here, which felt like a bait, honestly. So obviously, yeah, because I went for Earthquake again. I think I went for a misplay basically. They're going for Earthquake. I should have just gone for the Dragon Claw. I don't know why I didn't go for it. Not a whole lot on his team appreciates Dragon Claw anyway, so going for that was probably the play. I tried to go for it now, but he just switches us back into Sableye, annoyingly enough, because this just gives more burn damage to my Garchomp, and again, I'm just getting crippled little by little, which is pretty annoying. Here, he thinks about what he wants to send in. He ends up going into the Slowbro now, which is, yeah, unfortunate. I don't really got much for this. Like, I could switch into Sylveon, but if I do that, I'm just going to lose the +4 that I have right now with Garchomp in the attack. So I just decided to get as much damage as I could. I didn't want to risk him switching back in the Crobat, so I just went for the Dragon Claw, even though Earthquake would have done a lot more to Slowbro. Not to mention, the Slowbro would have switched out and get Regenerator back. But again, that's probably why I wanted to go for the Earthquake, so I didn't have to deal with that. Here, he's going to go for the Ice Beam and just take out my Garchomp. Now here, I do send in Sylveon once again. And again, because I wasn't really sure what this Slowbro would want to do, I just went for the Wish here. It was also to possibly heal up one of the other mons that I had, like, unhealthy. So here I just go for the Wish. In retrospect, this might have felt like a bad move, because remember that Slowbros can get Calm Mind and just set up to +6 and then just ruin my day. But surprisingly enough, he actually ends up going for the Teleports, which, I'll be honest with you, I kind of forgot was a move on Slowbro. But yeah, he's going to be able to use that to pivot back into Cinderace. So yeah, that is unfortunate for me again, because yeah, now that I know this thing has Gunk Shot, I don't really got much for this. Because I anticipated the Gunk Shot once again, I actually decided to make a risky play here and actually switch into the Conkeldurr here. And I was hoping I'd be able to take the Gunk Shot despite it being stab annoyingly enough on Cinderace. But unfortunately for me, and I think this is where I just felt like, okay, yeah, I definitely lost now. Like, because, yeah, this guy has coverage for pretty much everything on my team. He has Gunk Shot for Sylveon, Zen Headbutt for Conkeldurr. And, yeah, I got the Wish up, thankfully, because I survived the Zen Headbutt. But the problem is that I don't outspeed this Cinderace. So I have to switch out yet again and go into Entei here and try to get some damage with the E-Speed. And then send in Sylveon and then try to go for a different move. Like, try to Hyper Voice it to death and hoping I can... Or hoping that he can miss the Gunk Shots. Yeah, because this Leftovers thing is like... It's just giving him so much HP back, and it's pretty annoying because, you know, it doesn't let him, you know, go down very easily. The fact that this Cinderace is just simply Leftovers and nothing more just goes to show you how busted this mon is. Back then, I knew that it was busted, but I just kind of didn't remember why. But it was because of the Libero ability and the coverage moves. Here he goes into Slowbro, which is super annoying. He's not even going to give me the chance to freaking, like, you know, take that thing out. I just go for the Toxic here because that's literally all I can do now. Just put this Slowbro on a timer. Not that it even matters though, because even if this Slowbro goes down, he still takes me out with the Zygarde most likely if he gets the setup. He's pivoting again. I don't know why. Maybe just to flex on me. He could have just finished me off here with the Scald or Surf or whatever he has, honestly. Here, I think I try to go for another Toxic on the off chance I outspeed this Zygarde. Because if I outspeed it, then I can at least put this thing on a timer and it won't be able to get away with sweeping me. I think back then I was actually interested in taking out the Zygarde particularly, even if I were to lose this match, because this was in a time when Legend ZA came out, and I think I was taking out Zygarde a lot. So yeah, obviously I didn't want to just lose to him here now. So I did whatever I could to, you know, at least do something here. Here he goes for the Dragon Dance, and I try to go for another Toxic because, yeah, annoyingly enough, he had a freaking Lumberry too. And yeah, basically undid what he did. And because I was already crippled, I definitely go down to any speed, which sucks. So here I go into Sylvia now just to freaking just go for the Hyper Voice. Even if he switches back into Cinderace, honestly, I just need to freaking do something now. He goes for the 1,000 arrows instead of the Iron Tail, so he probably didn't even have the Iron Tail, which is, I guess, good. But yeah, I guess good because I at least take out the Zygarde. But unfortunately for me here, this is the part where, yeah, I'm supposedly just gonna get finished off right here by Cinderace, because I think I only had this and Conkeldurr, and obviously the Cinderace has coverage for both of them. The only way I could possibly win this is if he literally misses all of his gunk shots and Zen headbutts. So yeah, because I was really pissed at the freaking at the Sableye surviving that Earthquake at +2 from Garchomp stab and all that stuff. Yeah, I decided to be annoying here and just freaking go for Protect here, obviously, because I just wanted to like see if I could PP stall his gunk shots, because gunk shot doesn't have a lot of PP. It only has like 8 max, unless they increased it recently, but I don't know. I think it's still 8, obviously. So yeah, here I try to go for the Mystical Fire because he's going for Gunk Shot, and going for Hyper Voice is, you know, not a good idea because it's now a poison type, so it resists it. He does actually end up missing the Gunk Shot right here, so that's actually, like, it's kind of making me think, you know, if this can keep on happening, maybe I have a chance to take out at least the Cinderace. I don't know if I'll win the whole thing because he still has the Crobat, I believe. So, yeah, he could still win, but again, I'll be able to at least take out the Cinderace, which is the one that has been pissing me off throughout this whole match because it's just, you know, destroying my whole team. I go for another Protect here just to see what he wants to go for. He goes for the Pyro Ball now. I think that move also, like, can miss, but it's like 95 accuracy, so it's very unlikely it misses. And it's like 100 power or 120 power. It's a pretty busted move actually on Cinderace because it's stab on it, obviously. So yeah, here yeah, I Protect. I try to go for the Hyper Voice because he went for Pyro Ball. Goes for the Gunk Shot right here. Ends up missing, which was actually pretty funny. I go for the Hyper Voice here just to see how much this does compared to Sacred Fire. It actually does surprisingly a lot more, it seems. I don't know if it's just me or is it just the leftovers making it look like it doesn't do much, but it seemed to do a lot. So I guess I decided here, from here on out, to just keep going for Hyper Voice. I go for Protect here again because, again, I just want to be annoying and just have him like miss all of his Gunk Shots if possible, because otherwise I just definitely lose here. This was one of those matches that I just really didn't want to let, like, I didn't want to see myself lose here because of the whole like thing with Sableye, honestly. Like, for all intents and purposes, I just feel like that Sableye should have gone down. This match would have been a whole lot different if that wasn't the case, honestly. So here, I try to go for, I think, another Hyper Voice, given how much damage that did compared to Sacred Fire. So, or, yeah, I think it was Sacred Fire, I don't remember. Mystical Fire, whatever. Jeez, I keep calling it Sacred Fire because Sacred Fire, but yeah. Unfortunately, he did not miss that Gunk Shot there, and yeah, I do lose Sylveon. Now here, even if I were to take out the Cinderace somehow, he would still have Slowbro, who would just Psychic my Conkeldurr, and Conkeldurr is my last one, so yeah, rip me on that front. Oh, actually, I do have another mon. I think it was the Raikou, actually. Yeah, I think it was the Raikou. But either way, I still lose because, I don't know if you know this, but Cinderace's speed is actually relatively fast. I think it's faster than Raikou. I think by 1. I think it's like 116 in speed, but I'm not really sure. It might be 120 for all I know. Either way, I definitely lose right here. I don't know what my opponent's thinking of, really. He could just go for another Zen Headbutt. Unless he's just timing it so that he doesn't miss this too, honestly. Because I was kind of hoping he'd miss the Zen Headbutt here, so that I can at least go for something else here. But unfortunately, it just takes me out. So I think my last one here is just, I think the Raikou. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what mon it was. Okay, yeah, it was the Raikou. So Raikou, yeah, that thing is weakened, obviously. He can literally go for the Pyro Ball and, you know, he'll just win, basically. The move could miss, so, like, I was hoping he'd miss at least that, given that he's been landing all those other moves. But unfortunately, he does not miss it, and yeah, it's just gonna basically take out my Raikou. So, yeah, this was arguably one of my least favorite matches in this whole league. In fact, I think it is my least favorite. Because for fuck's sake, there was just no way he should have survived with that Sableye at +2 with Garchomp. But again, I don't know. Maybe that Garchomp wasn't fully invested in attack. It was Jolly too. It wasn't adamant. It was Jolly so that it could outspeed as much stuff as possible. And what else? I don't know. Maybe like the IVs were not 31 like it should have been. Maybe it was 0 or something. Because I tend to make some of those IVs 0 for attack if they're like special attackers or something. But I don't know if I accidentally did that with Garchomp. I don't remember since I don't have the teams anymore. So yeah, it's just kind of a mystery at this point. But yeah, bottom line is that I lost regardless. Another destructive match. It did not go to time either. So again, the fact that I won my match last week and it went to time, and I've lost 2 matches now and they don't go to time, you can only imagine how frustrated I was back then. I was heavily frustrated. I think because of that, I actually, you know, I started to like basically consider, you know, dropping out of the league. So like, because I was just straight up not feeling it. Because remember, I don't know if you remember when I said this in one of my sessions for Hyperdimension Neptunia. I think it was the last episode, or the one where I defeat R4 basically. I mentioned like after the credits that a lot of the matches that I've been doing for Pokemon have mostly been half-hearted. This is exactly what I mean. Like, because I'm not winning these matches, I'm just kind of like starting to care less and less. This was basically like the nail in the coffin for me. This is when I started to like just not care about the matches anymore, because I was just, you know, getting cheesed out one way or another. Yeah, go figure. Anyway, so that's gonna be this week's match. If you watched, thank you for watching, obviously. Hope to catch you fellas for another match whenever I get to it. For now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.